Hey YouTubers, how's it going? Mike Martin's here, Mike Martin's channel, streaming live out of Merritt, BC on, it's Tuesday night here still. It's late Tuesday night, so it's probably Wednesday morning where you're watching this. It's June 6th, but technically it's June 7th everywhere else. So I kind of want to put this together on a Tuesday night, back-to-back edition. I really hope people could tune in tonight. A lot of people are waiting for Wednesday. I think I'm going to do a Wednesday show too. And broadcasting live from country music town, Merritt, BC. And I have to do a few back-to-back shows this week for sure. I might have to do another one maybe tomorrow again. We got a tiny problem here, people, and my tiny problem is, it's not a bad thing. I have received, let me check here, 166 links about the housing crisis in the last 5 days. Yes. I don't even think I know 166 people, but yes. Oh, Steve the Plumber's on, thank God. Good evening, thanks for joining us. I'm waiting for some of our commenters to join us. A lot of people want to join this chat and conversation. So I might try and see if I could do a really early Sunday edition of Trends in the Housing Market. But because of the amount of links that I received, and it's 166 links in the last 4 days, I have to put some back-to-back shows because it's beyond anything uncomparable, and there's not a lot of people out there really going out on limb to broadcast how urgent this problem is. And it's hitting the entire Commonwealth, and obviously, what does the Commonwealth... Oh, Mia just showed up. Hey, guys. What does the Commonwealth mean? Free market. What does free market mean? Come in and just spend a ton of cash if you got it. You know what I'm saying? And that's what it's been looking like. I got a really, really big action-packed show. I got so many links, guys. Thanks for sending me the links. I appreciate it. Incredible amount of links. So we're going to go through some of them, and we're going to do a back-to-back show. I'm going to probably do one again Wednesday night around, or a little bit earlier than this. I want to try and put a Sunday show together for you guys because Sunday is very important. Maybe an early show, like 3 o'clock my time will be 6 p.m. in New York, Miami. And then that would be 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. That'd be 11, 12 p.m. in Lisbon. So kind of okay. But anyways, yes, someone's asking me if I got the links. They're probably mixed in with all these links here. And I got a lot more coming tomorrow. It's a lot going on. And let's start here. So I want to do a few plugs before I start the show, if it's okay with you guys. I would like to get a few plugs going on here. Let me just close this here so I don't get confused. Let's get a few plugs here. This is my this is really good, guys. I really recommend you guys take the time to watch this. I actually got this building, and I completely renovating it. Step-by-step videos. Starting a business from scratch. It's on my channel. And the place is just, it's beyond dump. It is, it's beyond a dump. Yep, like my wife's there having to plug her nose. Yeah, it's beyond. But anyways, I took this place and I'm making it into something. It's an old rundown building in downtown Merritt. So, yeah, look how bad that is. Garbage everywhere. It's really bad. Look at the floor. That's all dog hair. I really want to share this with you guys. Get into this. This is part 1, location. I really do a good job. I try my best, okay, explaining what's going on with the small business and how we can make it work. Because I don't want small business to die. Small business dies, middle class goes with it. Look at that skull. Wow. Brings back memories. This is another one that I got going on my channel. It's Living the Dream series. And this Living the Dream series that I have is this house I bought here for 260 grand. It's an 11 bedroom house that I picked up for 260 grand on an acre of land, three-quarters of an acre, almost an acre of land. And I really want you guys to follow this one because I'm kind of promoting people to get the hell out of the city because there's something outside the city. And I promise you guys, there's a lot outside the city if you guys take your time and look. And, okay, someone sent me a message here. Would you run for the provincial federal legislator? I don't think I qualify for that. I'm more, because I have an incredible amount of fame and in the Portuguese-speaking world, I dedicate a lot of my time to Portuguese Africa and how it's been destabilized, just like Libya and all the other countries were. And I kind of work towards helping rehabilitate and getting elections going. And I had something going on there in Angola that's buzzing everywhere. I made a video about how to stop election fraud, and it's really good. I know this has nothing to do with the housing market, but I was telling people to wear shirts in representation to the party that because they're making it illegal to take photos of your ballots. They're making it illegal for everything. So I told people to start wearing shirts in the color of representation and get their phones out and start filming all the people voting for this specific party. It's kind of hard, to fake that. You know what I'm saying? Anyways, legislator, I don't think I qualify. I could barely read. I think you have to... Depends in what province, but I know you have to speak French in some parts, and I don't even know. I don't think I qualify for that. Yeah, that's the highest legislator or provincial government or whatever I would be part of. I'm friends with the president of the be president of Angola, which is a long story. Before the elections kick off, America's already claiming him as the winner. Anyways, I'm good friends with him on Facebook. He messages me all the time. He asks me what to do with the Constitution. How can we break the Constitution? You know what I'm saying? So at the very least, municipal. Yeah, I'll look into it and see what's involved. I know I could run for mayor here because now I have a little storefront. Well, 2 storefronts in Merritt that I'm opening. And I'm popular at City Hall, and everyone knows me, and everyone comes and talks to me and stuff. And maybe I could run for mayor of Merritt, and address the problems that they're having here in Merritt. But yeah, it's there's just too much stuff happening, and I think I couldn't get into government I could be a backdoor guy, for example, in Angola and Mozambique, the Mozambique elections were, was it 2.5 years ago? I helped sway the vote to Philip Nyasi, who's the president right now of Mozambique. I did help him. I wrote his speech, everything. I got people out voting and got the youth involved. I'm very popular in those countries because I'm getting the youth into the politics, the youth getting into things there, because those countries were like Manhattan, New York, Miami. Beachfronts proper, and then they became destabilized. Anyways, somebody's writing here. I checked out Merritt on Saturday. Oh, did you come and say hi to me? Nice place, bud. What types of jobs are there? Okay, there's the Kinder Morgan line that's coming through. I told you guys Kinder Morgan's coming through the pipeline, and that's going to employ people for a long time. I already have 2 people living next door to me that's renting a suite. That are basically working on that. There's the sawmills. The mills here are always hiring experienced workers, and I think that starts at $27 an hour. They're advertising $27 or $29 an hour to start. Yeah, there's a lot of, you got to look around, So, anyways, yeah, getting into government is something I don't think. I just can't be part of a thing where I'm going to have to lie to people. I'm going to have to misrepresent. Not knowing something and explaining it and me not knowing what I'm talking about is one thing. And then me blatantly lying to people's faces to get what I want is something I just can't live with it. I'm really sorry. It's something I can't do. And that's one reason why I don't get maybe backroom politics, hey, Mike, what could we do to this area to help spruce it up? What could we do here? I could maybe discuss and just talk and not get paid for it. But taking money in or receiving a salary for lying. I know. I just can't. Mike, man, big news here from Toronto. Yeah, Jake, tell us what's going on. Anyways, let me get to this. This is what my channel looks like. So this is my trends in the housing market. If you miss it tonight, fine. You can see it tomorrow. I might be go live again tomorrow. Like I said, I'll say it again for people just joining us. I got 166 links from all over the world. And from all over the world. Coming all over the world in some of them are in Spanish, which I could read, and in Portuguese, which is interesting. People from France messaging me in Portuguese to tell me what's happening, which is really cool. Anyways, yeah, you weren't there, but I did see the shop that you plan to open. Too much experience in warehousing, admin work, security, politics, maybe. Yeah, there's lots here if you take the time to actually kind of put yourself, maybe work in administration in a lumber mill. There's lots of work in that. Anyway, so this is my starting a business from scratch. I got a good one I'm going to put up for you guys later. The competition in town. He's not really competition. I call him case-by-case situation game store. You walk in, there's nothing there for sale. Then he comes in yelling at me today like crazy. I'm like, what the hell's going on? And he's got nothing for sale in his store, but when you want something, he'll order it for you. That's a really good store idea. That's a good business plan. And case-by-case situation came in today yelling at me and swearing at me and, stuff like that. That was pretty harsh. I'm like, whoa, easy there, buddy. Anyways, okay, everyone's, and this is my housing crisis thing, my rants and lifestyle, stuff I talk about, stuff that come across my mind that I want to unload with you guys. And this is Mario DeCetti's, guys. If you can, please check him out. He's based out of Barrie, Ontario, but he's doing the whole entire east coast of Canada, east coast mainly Ontario, and he's covering important topics. Send him links too. That's his thing. Mario DeCetti's there. Send him links to he can cover too. There's a lot of links, several hundred of them I got to cover. So let's kick off in Toronto. I know Jake is waiting patiently here for Toronto, but Toronto could become a buyer's market in coming months, says RBC. The bank that won't let me withdraw more than $1,000 of my own money. Toronto could soon turn into a buyer's market, according to the new report by the RBC. Don't be surprised if the Toronto area market moves into a buyer's market territory in coming months, wrote Robert, I can't pronounce that, senior economist at the bank. Watch within weeks of the Ontario Liberal government's introduction to foreign buyers tax and other measures to cool Toronto's real estate market. Buyers and sellers are taking notice. Yep, so somebody else here is saying, here in California, housing is on fire. Bidding wars very common. Interest rates are super low. Just like Max Kaiser keeps saying, if you watch the Kaiser report, it's a nice report. He's a really great guy. I went to a couple of his seminars. I met him. He's a nice guy. And basically, it's a Ponzi scheme. Free money. Manipulate interest rates. It's all good. But the party's going to have to come to an end. So let's keep going here. Compared to a year ago, home sales were down a whopping 20%. Imagine this on the stock market. Oh my God, my stock's down 20 points. Sell. Hello, broker, you there? Yeah. You know that stock? Yeah, I know it's 20%. Sell it now. That's what's happening. In May, nearly twice as many Torontonians put their property on the market. And the list of homes waiting for buyers rose by 40%, according to the data released by the Toronto Real Estate Board on Monday. The average prices fell 6.2% compared to April, although they remained nearly 15% above May 2016 levels. There is no doubt that Ontario's measures to cool off the market, including a Vancouver-style tax. I like how they dub it as the Vancouver-style tax. The Vancouver-style tax on non-resident home buyers had much to do with this, according to Hogue. We've entered a period of adjustment in price expectations. Let's see what they say. So let's see what they cover this up with. In the market, and this causes buyers and sellers to lock horns, he wrote. Worried about declining prices, sellers are rushing to offload properties, but remain determined to cash in. The numbers suggest, meanwhile, buyers are likely holding off for prices to come down further. Of course. Okay, if you're in like the GTA area, wait a few months, see what happens. Okay, because there's not a lot of houses unless you're by Lawrence, Bayview and Lawrence area that are worth more than $1 million. So if you buy Bayview and Lawrence area, or if you're in Oakville, Ontario, specific areas by Lakeshore, sure, I could see a house being $1 million. But your typical run-down house by Dufferin and Eglinton, there's no way it's worth that much. I know what those houses look like. I lived in one of those when I was a kid. Yep, so Markham is an area I know best. Everything above $900K has taken a huge hit. I've seen price reduction of $180K and still not selling. Toronto's crash was too obvious to guess. Remember when I said that Toronto's market will crash in the previous live stream? Of course. This is Canadian that's commenting there. Yep, Durham, Ontario. So people are commenting. It's good that we have a good chat here going tonight. I'm really happy you guys are here joining me on a lonely Tuesday night. So this is a big... So why Canada wins but many Torontonians lose from Ontario's new housing measures? Now, here's the market right here. Look at this, guys. Toronto sales to new listings ratio. Let me just kind of open this up for you guys. Maybe one more out. One more out. Oh, it won't let me, eh? Look at that, guys. That's May right here. Looking for a balanced market, that line. That line represents a balanced market. So what is this going to mean for... Let's see what they tell us here. Toronto area home buyers may be rubbing their hands. But what's happening in Southern Ontario is cautionary tale for homeowners across the country. New government measures aimed at pouring cold water onto overheated markets represent a risk for homeowners and investors who have much of their money tied up in real estate, Chris Ketliff, head of North Vancouver, BC-based Blue Shore Financial, Total Global News. Yeah. So this is not good. Why did I buy this house in Merritt? One, it's got a ton of space and it's endless. And two, because I could buy it free and clear. And that's why I bought the house. I want to own a house. I don't want to pay the bank for the rest of my life. And a lot of people's like, why didn't you buy in Vancouver? It's not that I don't want to spend $1 million on a house. I don't want to spend $1 million on a house that's worth $160,000. And that's what I've been telling people. People are commenting and telling me, oh, poor man Mike, poor little white guy, garbage guy. Somebody was calling me a bottle collector, garbage Mike. Had to move out to Merritt, couldn't afford to live in Surrey. It's not that I don't want to spend $1 million. If I want to spend $1 million in a house, it's got to have an indoor and outdoor pool. It's got to have a servant's quarter. It's got to have a big water fountain in the front with a drive out loop with the gated electric fence. That's $1 million house. Anyways, so let's continue here. So this is a load of just a lot of hot steaming grade A bull. Let's move on. Toronto home sales drop most since recession as new rules put brakes on the market. I love it how they say new rules put brakes on the market. Toronto sales of existing homes across the Greater Toronto Area dropped a whopping 20.3% in May from a year ago. Well, didn't it go up like 20% anyway? while the average home price in the region fell about 6% from April. Results based on the first full month of data following the major initiative by the Ontario government to cool Canada's biggest housing market. The Toronto Real Estate Board said Monday that there were 10,196 sales through the multiple listing service last month, down 12,790 sales reported in May 2016. That's an eye-opener right there. Detached homes fell 26.3% during the period, and condominium apartment sales were off 6.4%. Woo! The Toronto home market has not seen such sustainable declines in both sales and prices since the recession of 2008. The actual or normalized effect of the Ontario Fair Housing Plan remains to be seen. In the past, some housing policy changes have initially led to an overreaction on the part of homeowners and buyers. Well, that's what sparks things. It's an overreaction. People freak out, and that's what usually triggers it. Which later balanced out, said Jason Mercer, director of market analysis, TREEP. This TREEP thing keeps coming up, man. So there you go. You see the dip there? Let me zoom this in a way you could. There's the dip right there. Look at that. From 2014, look at that increase. So, guys, I really want to tell you guys something, okay? I really want you guys to start thinking out of the box when it comes to business or getting plans in place to actually start making money. Because it really isn't that hard. The reason why they keep this such a secret of like owning your own business, what are you doing? Oh my God, are you doing that? That's crazy. Is because the reason why it's such a hidden, it's almost like a taboo to own a small business nowadays because of all the taxes and everything. But if you guys could get out there and start really looking at the angles and really start using your minds and getting out of your 9-to-5s and start breaking free like I did many years ago. My shop downtown in Vancouver is having its 10-year anniversary next week. 10 years. I opened that with a $5,000 credit card. 10 years. And I really, really, want to tell you guys this, that I really want you guys to start looking outside angles, really start looking at marketing. People are sick and tired of buying online. It's getting to a point where people want to go out. They want to go shopping to small stores. I can't believe how busy downtown Merritt gets. The little stores and all the people passing by and tourists and stuff. You got to market. You got to get out. Because now, let me tell you why I'm telling you this. There's a reason why. So, somebody was telling me the other day that I'm a total idiot. I'm a total retard. That why wouldn't I want I was telling people that I don't care if my house goes down to $1 in value. I don't $0, worthless. And someone was telling me, "Hey, Mike, you're an idiot." I'm like, because wouldn't you want a house to go up like this? I'm showing you here, from 2014 to 2017. Wouldn't you want your house to go up? I don't know, $300,000-$400,000 in that time, from 2014, 15, 16, for 4 years. You know what I said? I replied, "Are you out of your tree? House base. You have a base. You have your home base to start your operations. Then, instead of waiting 4 years to make 400 grand, you make 400 grand a year." And a lot of people are laughing at me like, no, it is very possible. Why am I going to wait 4 years for my house to go up $400,000? What a waste when you can make that in a year easy. Gross. Easy. But let me get back. Now, okay, Steve the Plumber, Montreal seeing increases. Steve, you're on the money. I thought somebody else mentioned Alberta. I was wrong. Let's keep going. So this is the Ontario house prices fall. So you guys know about the measures. This is fewer sales, more listings. That's the graph right there I wanted to show you guys. I really want you guys to see this. And rule changes are taking effect. Because you'll start seeing Toronto, a lot of brain drain in Vancouver. A lot of brain drain in Vancouver moving east. And, yeah. Let's move on. This UN representative is in Vancouver. Okay, Steve the Plumber says, Mike Martins, many people have misconceptions that high house prices is good for the economy. How high house prices actually creates an impoverished economy and empty homes. And I don't have a base to work out of, so I can't open my small business. My house isn't affordable enough for me to pay it off in 5 years, so I could start a small business with my family and take the plunge or take the leap. Affording housing equals let's take a lien on the house now that we paid it off and put our kids through college, or let's take a lien on the house and open a small business and give it a chance before we die. You live once, let's give it a chance. That's what I'm trying to tell you guys. Step out of the parameters. Look at business opportunities. Who cares if a house goes up in 2 years 400 grand when you can make 400 grand a year? Go ahead and laugh. I don't care. Vancouver becoming I can't even read that city. I think what that means is being a divided city by rich and poor. In housing crisis, says former UN rep. Vancouver is becoming an apartheid. I can't read that city in terms of the divide between rich and poor, said Milan, the former UN special reporter for housing. Guthrie, who visited Vancouver a decade ago in that role, has returned to give several talks and spent Monday visiting downtown East Side. The Baltimore Hotel at the 10-year tent city. There's a 10-year tent city in Vancouver, which stood in the same place in 2007. I'm very disturbed to see that not much has changed. In fact, the situation is becoming worse. He was referring to the steep increase in homelessness in the city and the region alongside unbridled speculation and the land and property. Guthrie said that it was shocking that welfare rates haven't changed over the 10 years. So here we go. Yeah, so somebody else commented here. Exactly, Mike. Don't listen to people going crazy in debt and never paying off their subpar mortgages, subpar houses. Someone else commented here, says, government wants to high housing prices so they can get higher property taxes. Well, that's not real. That's true. 100%. But the case in Vancouver is if property values go down, I think property taxes will just stay the same. They won't lower them. You've never seen them lower taxes before, have you? Okay. When you look at Vancouver, it seems to me very quickly becoming a sort of a city, means divide, where it's not only off limits to low-income people and they're concentrated in one neighborhood and a little bit across the city, but it's also increasing out of limits the middle-class residents. Yep. So there's a national strategy, housing strategy that's coming. I want you guys to take a look at that, but I don't know, man. I'm not feeling it. Like, I left the city. Okay, so this is what somebody commented early. I don't know if you remember the last stream I did, Trends in the Housing Market. I was talking about the whole Alberta being the next big. Come on over to Alberta. I mentioned that, and that was my guess, and there was a kind of few articles hinting and pointing towards that. Well, Montreal is bigger. It's actually increasing big time. Canada's new hot housing market is Montreal. You see those two dots right there in the article right here? I'll show you guys right here. That's a drum roll. That's sorry. So John Kay wrote, I wonder if the alliances between the NDP and Green Party will help kill the market. So that was something I was talking about in the last two streams. I was discussing this and what people thought, and people weighed in, and I got destroyed in the comment section over that. And Yeah, let's keep going. Canada's new housing market is Montreal. With Toronto's housing market showing signs of cooling and Vancouver's days of heady price increases now well behind it. A new top dog is emerging in Canada real estate market, and it's Montreal. The city posted record high sales in May, jumping 15% from the same month a year ago, according to the data released Tuesday by the Greater Montreal Real Estate Board. That's the highest volume the city has seen since before the financial crisis of 2008-2009. This was an exceptional month for May on Montreal's residential real estate market. Matthew Kumsu, president of the, I don't even know what that is, board of directors, said in a statement. Single-family homes have risen 6% in the past year, while that's kind of almost on par with inflation. While that sounds like peanuts compared to the double-digit prices growth seen recently in Toronto, it's quite the change for Montreal, whose housing market has been treading water for several years. As recently as January, the city's real estate board was predicting 1% price growth in the coming year. Now it expects a 6% pace. Hold your horses, people. I think, yeah. So Steve the plumber's commenting here. He's got really good comments saying Montreal could not handle a housing crisis. They would implode. That's, yeah. And people are also commenting saying that the French will kick them out quickly so their housing market doesn't suffer as well. Not true, because Toronto saw what happened in Vancouver, and they did nothing about it. A lot of politicians lined their pockets with bribes and money and shadow deals and back room deals. Same thing with Seattle. Seattle is what? 2-hour drive from Vancouver. They saw focused on what happened in Vancouver, and they were hoping it came to Seattle because they want to get temporarily rich on paper. And who cleans up the mess after the party's over? That's the question. After Ontario's government introduced a 15% foreign buyers tax, it goes back to what we say. Here's Montreal home sales and prices. So the house price is up to $315 large right now. You know, average home prices in Montreal, I could deal with, $284, $252. That's what a house should, 4-bedroom, 3-bath should go for. But going any higher than that, I'm thinking, it's not that it's a great city. I've been to Quebec City. I've been to Hull, Quebec. I've been to Montreal. I've been to Quebec City. I saw Celine Dion's house from the outside. Montreal saw a bit more Asian investors following Vancouver's introduction of the tax last year. CMHC Montreal analysis David Leroux told Bloomberg last week. But at the moment, I don't think it has a significant impact on demand, he said. Whether or not that changes with Toronto's foreign buyers tax introduced in April remains to be seen. So we'll in the meantime, strong job growth and increasing migrant numbers are behind Montreal's accelerating market. Paul Cardinal of Quebec Federation of Real Estate Boards said in a report last month. All the same, Montreal remains considerably more affordable than Toronto, of course. The Toronto, a medium price for single-family home rose to $319 large. In May, a fraction of $1.1 million average price recorded last month in Toronto, and the $1.56 million benchmark price Okay. The $1.56 million benchmark price in Vancouver. Yeah. 1.5. Anyways, I'm going to tell you guys a story. Okay, when I used to live in like a kind of like a little dead end, and across, like, I used to live in I used to rent a townhome from a private company that rents out to people, and they do a lot of background checks and to make sure you could pay your rent and stuff. They don't want problems, right? So there's a little dead end that comes around, a little cul-de-sac thingy that comes around, and then there's a big Sikh temple, and then right in front there's this house. The house, the foundation's cracked, and the house it has to be torn down. But I was watching it on MLS, and I couldn't laugh. I just couldn't laugh my pants off. The guy's asking one point. It was for $1.8 million. Okay, and it was advertised as a 10-bedroom house. Okay, so it's kind of somewhat of a corner house, the way it was set up on the street. And it was kind of funny because the house looks like a 3-bedroom from the out. Like, it does not look like a 10-bedroom home. Okay, it does not look like a 10, and it's all cracking. Like, the house looks like it really needs. So they went out and they painted the old wooden steps and a couple other things, and to make it look, they put a plastic tarp over this rotten wood so that you could park your car underneath so it doesn't get wet. There's no garage. So it's a 10-bedroom home. So I don't understand how they were asking that much for the house, and the house remained for sale for a long time. This is after the tax was put on. And that house apparently was flipped like 9 times in a matter of 4 months. I can't believe it. And how did they get away with a 10-bedroom house? So someone commented on my comments section when I was talking about this house a long time ago. Well, mattress fits in this room. That's a bedroom. Okay, you see the sink and toilet? You could fit a mattress right there in that corner, can you? Okay, that's a bedroom. You see this little walk-in closet? Can you fit a little sleeping bag in that closet? Yeah. That's a bedroom too. That's the only way I can see that house being a 10-bedroom. Funny as, it just blew me away. Anyways. Yeah. Let me continue here. I'm going off topic here. Let's move on. Chinese investors buying up Puget Sound properties, affecting housing market as a whole. Let's head back to Seattle, people. And I've been talking about Seattle for forever. And Seattle creating pamphlets and investor material and flying in investors from different countries. It's nuts. Let's see here. Seattle, when you think the housing market couldn't get any hotter, it does and continues to set records. The median price of a home in Seattle area went for more than $700,000 last month. Let me just breathe here. 700 large. I remember a year ago, the average house in Seattle was like $390 for a nice house. 700 large. 700 large. On the east side, the price was even higher at 900 large. The skyrocketing prices can be a good thing if you already own a home, but for buyers, the market is tough. Chinese investors make up a majority of the foreign buyers in our area. They have always been interested in the Puget Sound area, but several local realtors are telling Q13 News they are buying up residential properties at a rate they never seen before. Now, this is American news. This is Q13 Fox. My friend actually works for these guys. A good friend of mine works on the scene with them. He's been working there actually like 13 years now. But anyways, he sent me this link. You see, in America, if America doesn't like something, they make sure, like, okay, there's lots of fake news going, lots of crap, blah, blah, blah. But when they want to get a story out and they want to tell it how it is, the Americans are like cowboys. They cowboy it when it comes to journalism. They tell it how it is if they have to. They can make stuff up and propagandize, blah, 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 whatever. But the Americans just go cowboy on this stuff. So, many Chinese investors are purchasing luxury homes, and even if you're not personally playing in that arena, experts say that the frenzy is affecting the housing market as a whole. Q13 News recently went home shopping with Heather Cherise Manzer. When Manzer walks into a home, she is looking for love. I'm of the mindset you have to love a house, Manzer said, and it's happened. She's fallen in love with 5 different times. I've had my heart broken, yes, Manzer said. She's lost every single property she's bid on for the past 3 years. Among the competition are Chinese investors who many times overbid and pay in cash. Broker Gary Liu with John L. Scott specializes in the cash bidding war. Seattle is a top city for Chinese investors, Liu said. Liu has an interesting perspective. He represents local buyers frustrated over the fierce market. I grew up here and I completely understand, Liu said. At the same time, wealthy foreign investors hungry for good investments are keeping him busy. I'm a personal shopper, Liu said. In fact, Liu says some Chinese investors have never even set foot in Emerald City. And they're not talking about Oz. Not just one client, many of my clients have never been to Seattle, Liu said. This is a good article. These guys are cowboying this. People are cowboying this. The attraction is the region is multifaceted, from panoramic views to higher education and burgeoning tech industries. There is much to be coveted in our region. If you look at the whole West Coast by comparison, we are very affordable, Liu said. Yeah, LA's on fire right now. Sure. For example, in November 2016, inquiries went up by 125%, according to Jiawei.com, a Chinese version of Zillow. You can see that as a good sign or bad sign, Liu said. The good sign is the economy is getting a boost, but the bad sign, it's drying up inventory. And in some cases, properties are even sitting vacant, purchased by Chinese investors who never moved in. And what kind of practice is one reason Vancouver voted to tax foreigners? Not sure we've become the next Vancouver, research James Young said. Yeah, you've been the next Vancouver. I'm sorry. Young, with his W. Runstand Center for Real Estate Studies, isn't concerned so much about investor vacancy rates as he is with the a pace of development locally. There is no way to build enough houses, right, to meet the demand. It's almost impossible, Young said. This is a long article. Let's get to the end here. But Chinese investors are not the sole reason why we are seeing skyrocketing home prices. Liu said even Chinese buyers were to leave the market tomorrow, he believes the trend will still continue because the strong economy. That could be true. But when we got a lot of people buying multiple properties, it does manipulate the numbers, of course. You know that, right? So, Seattle. Yep. It is still one of the cheaper cities on the West Coast. Yeah. See, American journalists expose the truth and don't care who they offend. Canadian media pretend nothing is happening. Investigation, no info collected. Very, very, very true. But, like I said, the Americans like to cowboy it when it's something coming up or something. Like, they cowboy this stuff and it's good. You know, some of these American articles get right in their faces and like, this is what's happening, people. If you're offended, go somewhere else. But that's what's happening, and that's what I like to see. News that actually talks about legitimacy and what's happening. So, someone's telling me here, Jay Carter has some crazy links to the home price decreases occurring in Markham. The sold prices are mind-blowing. WTF. Could someone just write out what the link? Oh wow, there's something. The house is down $320K. Could someone maybe write it out in a way, and instead of putting the .com, just write .dot on it, and I'll put it in here and go live with it. Someone send me this. My friend, oh God, I forgot his name. He's gonna kill me. My friend from Indianapolis actually sent me this article. Mike and Elaine Morgan never envisioned moving from the city to a home just outside of Sheridan, Indiana, but it's where today's fast-paced housing market took them. After watching property values skyrocket, they listed their Indianapolis home with the notion of moving to a suburb, better school district. They were thrilled when their house sold 5 days, but quickly discovered finding a new home wouldn't be easy or cheap. So, same thing. I would have loved to go on Zionsville or Carmel, but the prices are astronomical, Mike Morgan said. But we love it. We love it here. We have land and everything we want, and the high school and elementary school have great ratings. Central Indiana's housing market is booming in fashion. Previously unseen real estate agents lending to historic median prices. It's continuing. A trend began 2 years ago due to the stuff-filled demand after the recession. Low interest rates. Bing, 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 bing. We got a winner. We got a winner. Low interest rates and the loosening of lending standards. The market is strong everywhere, but especially hot throughout the Hamilton County and suburbs, up-and-coming neighborhoods near downtown Indianapolis. It's Joe. Joe sent me this article. Sorry, Joe. Good friend of mine, Joe, sent me this article. I just couldn't get his name through. I'm sorry, Joe. Sent me this article for Indianapolis. But there's a hitch. The market can't keep up the demand. Listings are down, creating frenzied bidding wars, and see homes selling within days, if not hours, of hitting the market, often inflated prices. So here you go, guys. It's a really long article. It's a very long article. Look at this. So they go into actual home pricing, and these young families are struggling. And that's who suffers the most, the young families. Indianapolis made our show today. Out of control. A good friend of mine, Leroy. He's white, by the way. Everyone thinks Leroy's a black guy's name. It's not. Leroy sent me this. He's from just outside of Las Vegas, and he's a good friend of mine too. Okay. Okay, I got some. Okay, I got something here. People keep comment sections going nuts, peeps. Okay, I need to see if I could. Okay, this is Markham. This is what they're talking about. Okay, I think I saw something there. Hold on. It's going to open something here for me. I swear I saw something open down here. Yeah, if you see a Google Chrome on the right, click anywhere to try. Okay. Okay, so these are the houses that are sold. I'm trying to open this into English here. It's not giving me language. I don't know why. I'm right-clicking. I'm doing everything. Oh, there we go. Translate to English. Thank you. Okay, welcome. Detached home selling, apartment selling, detached house transaction, house, apartment transaction. So, well, guys, what am I looking here? Hey, I'm looking to buy in Vegas. Okay, open both my links. Okay, so there's that link. So let me find the other link that everybody in the comment section is discussing here. So there must be a tail end to the link here. So let's open this here real quick. Let's see what we got here. Right click, translate to English. Okay, translate to English. There's nothing here. There's nothing in the image button here, buddy. There's nothing in the image. Let me refresh this real quick here, see if I can get something here going on for you guys. There's nothing in the image. Yeah, on the sidebar to the left, the EFB and the take out the EFB and M. Not seeing. Oh. BF. So I'm stuck here. Anyways, I am using the left side. So these are detached homes that are selling here. 2-story homes. Okay. Leave a link below on the show. I'm going to have the show up tomorrow. And I'll get back to that. I'll tinker with this at the end of the show if you guys want to hang out with me still. I'll tinker. Take off the EB and EF at the end of the link. Okay, let me try this one more time. Yeah, this is let me try this one more time. The comment section's going nuts for this. So I really want to get this thing working. Okay, take off the EF and the BF at the end of the link. Okay. All right, take that out. Yeah, nothing coming up. Nothing coming up. All right, let's go back here. This is really important because someone was talking about Vegas the other day. I'll tinker with that article at the end. I'll leave a link below because people are going to be interested. Just to Jake, the link is fine. Mike, just click the bottom 2 categories on the left. Okay, let's try this again. Bottom 2 categories, guys. All I'm getting on the bottom 2 categories is apartment transaction record. And then detached transaction record. Okay, so there's probably a record here showing sold price. Okay. Ask price. I see what they're saying here. So some of these are going way over asking price here. Wow, that's huge. Holy crap, look at this one. Wow. Their transaction records are not available to the public. Apartment transaction record. Okay. Anyways. Okay, I'm seeing what this is here. There's a gap here in between, but it looks like they're all going up from what I'm seeing here. Ask price 25,000 sold for 20, 279 sold for 307, 288 sold for 305. So it looks like what I'm getting here is interesting. Let me go back here. Squatters see new frontier in empty homes in Las Vegas. Look at this shopping cart outside. So someone, Leroy sent me this. A shopping cart in front of the vacant house in Las Vegas. The Las Vegas Metropolitan Police Department received more than 4,000 complaints about squatters last year. That's more than twice as many as in 2012. Las Vegas on the drive through the desert city. The blight from the housing collapse of 8 years ago can be. Is it 8 years ago now? Holy crap! It's like time flies, eh? Can be seen on every block. Overgrown yards, boarded up windows. Identify the foreclosed and abandoned homes that are still pockmarked northern Nevada. But not all dwellings are empty. Squatters have descended into every corner into Las Vegas, taking over empty houses in struggling working-class neighborhoods, in upscale planned communities like Summerlin, and everywhere in between, and often bring a trail of crime with them. Oh, come on, man. They're not bringing crime. There's people need to live somewhere, you know? Well, some unauthorized tenants and families are seeking shelter, police officers here say. They are more frequently finding drug dealers and counterfeiters operating out of these foreclosed homes. One man who police say was squatting has been charged with murdering a neighbor during a burglary. Even as construction cranes have returned to Las Vegas Strip and unemployed here has fallen to single digits, the situation is getting worse. The Las Vegas Metropolitan Police Department has received more calls about squatters each year since began tracking the problem. There were more than 4,000 complaints last year, up 43% from 2014, and more than twice as 2012. Residents say The explosion of squatters has shattered their sense of security and leaving them wary of any new neighbors at a time where the city is still trying to climb back from the depths of the recession. Things are out of hand. Things are getting out of hand pretty quick when these people move in, said Jacqueline Romero, 59, who has lived in the neighborhood for about 15 years. We're trying to do almost like every neighborhood, just keep ourselves safe. So, just wanted to put this one out there. Someone sent me this. My man Leroy. Yeah. Let's keep going. So this was sent to me from Alex from Scotland. And this is Property Investor Today. Scotland has a mountain to climb to solve its housing crisis. So Scotland is one country that's kind of below the radar, but they are having a really hard time making ends meet. House builders may never meet the demand for housing north of the border due to the various challenges that they face when it comes to delivering the new homes that Scotland desperately needs, according to a leading industry figure. Addressing 1,100 senior industry representatives in Edinburgh last week, the chief executive of trade body Homes for Scotland, Nicola Barsley, linked house building, which is still 40% down on pre-recession levels, to climb the mountain. So I had somebody telling me that there's a lot of people and there's a lot of empty homes. So there's a lot of people buying homes and leaving them empty in Scotland. And the housing issue is way out of control right now from some of the people, some people have been relaying from there. They want me to mention Scotland more and trends in the housing market because, again, people are bought out of the market and the housing is not worth what they want to pay for. Irish Times. Oh my God. It's still June 6th where I am, and this is June 7th. Wow. I'm reading this from the future. Why government response to housing crisis has failed. It defies logic to expect private rental sector to deliver the required number of units. It's kind of hard when all the houses are empty. Policies reflect the underlying obsession within Irish housing and economic policy of pursuing, despite the evidence, the financialization of housing. The housing crisis is a social emergency and poses major risks to the economy. However, the government's policy response to rebuilding Ireland has not only been inadequate but worsened the crisis. Yeah. The core failing of the over-reliance on a private market approaching housing provision, only 15% of 134,000 new social housing outlined in the rebuilding of Ireland will be built by local authorities of the Housing Association. The vast majority are meant to come from private sector. Again, I've been following this Rebuild Ireland thing that they've been going on for the last year and a half. By Dublin City Council, the 3 new development opportunities of housing. So again, mix of affordable and private housing. It will be inevitable to entail a large transfer of public wealth into the private investors. Ireland's, again, one of those countries that are below the radar. That this was posted 3 hours ago. And people just kind of turn a blind eye. I want to know your comment section here, what you guys think of this one. I got the comments open right now. This one's pretty good. Germany confiscating homes to use for migrants. A massive attack on property rights. Weigh in on this one, guys, in the comments section. There's something I never covered yet in the housing crisis. So someone sent me this from Berlin, actually. A girl sent me this from Berlin. In an unprecedented move, in Hamburg, authorities confiscated 6 residential units in the Han district near the city center. A trustee appointed by the city is now renovating the properties and will rent them against the will of the owner. That's I don't know what to tell you guys. So if you want to throw some comments there for me, I got a couple of people watching this. I'm pretty, okay, against the will of the owner. So if you have an investment property down the street, you can't afford to renovate it now. You're going to get some money and then maybe renovate it in a couple of months. Probably get it up and renting, hopefully in the next month or 2, 3, 4 months when it's legal to rent because it's not in conditions. They're just going to take it and go against your wishes and rent it. To tenants chosen by the city, district spokeswoman Serena Wieland said that the renovations cost will be billed to the owner of the What? Okay, I have to get someone to sit beside me and read this to me because I can't believe what I'm reading here. Okay. I'm going to read this one more time. A trustee appointed by the city is now renovating the properties and will rent them against the will of the owner. 2 tenants chosen by the city. District spokeswoman Serena Wieland said that all renovation costs will be billed to the owner of the property. What? Okay, someone's telling me Germany is a communist state. Yeah, well, yeah, to do that, I think a communist country would do something like this. Like, where they would blatantly do something. Wow. I don't even know what to tell you guys. Similar expropriation measures have been proposed in Berlin, the German capital, but abandoned because they were deemed unconstitutional. So they had other ideas. Wow, I would like to know what they were. I would like to share them on the show with you guys. Some Germans are asking what is next. Will authorities now limit the maximum amount of living space per person and force those with large apartments to share them with strangers? Wow, this is turning into bizarro. This article is turning into bizarro. And hey, if it happens in Europe, you know how Europe is usually a few years ahead of North America, not with technology, but with trends and this whole, look at my haircut, it's a new thing in Germany. What if this happens? I mean, if they make this happen and they roll it through and everyone's like, oh, you gotta help people. And what if they do this, here in North America? Or start bringing it to other parts of the world and introducing it? Some Germans are asking what is next. Will authorities now limit the maximum amount of living space per person and force those with large apartments to share them with strangers? Second largest city in Germany have begun confiscating property dwellings to ease the housing shortage. One that has been exacerbated by Chancellor Angela Merkel's decision to allow more than 2 million migrants into the country in recent years. City officials have been seizing commercial properties, commercial too, and converting them into migrant shelters. Since late 2015, when Merkel opened German borders to hundreds of thousands of migrants from Africa, Asia, Middle East. Now, however, the city is exporting residential property units owned by private citizens. Guys, this is super bizarro. Let me just get some water here. In an unprecedented move, Hamburg authorities recently confiscated 6 residential units in the Hamm district, the city center. The units, which owned by private landlord, are in need of repairs and have been vacated since 2012. So what? It's a local German. A trustee appointed by the city is now renovating the properties and will rent them against the will of the owner to tenants chosen by the city. Well, that's even great. That's even better. District spokeswoman Serena Wieland said that all renovations costs will be billed to the owner of the properties. The expropriation authorized by the Hamburg Housing Protection Act, whatever that says, an 82 law updated the city's socialist government in May 2013, enable the city to seize residential property unit that has been vacant for more than 4 months. 4 months? What if you go to Thailand for like half a year. Oh, I know a lot of German people that spend 6 months in Portugal, in South Portugal. When I was in South Portugal, I met a ton of German people vacationing and spending 6 months in Portugal in the colder months. This is retarded. I can't believe what I'm reading here. The forced lease, the first of its kind in Germany, is said to be aimed at pressuring the owners of other vacant residents in the city to make them available for rent. The other 700,000 rental units in Hamburg, somewhere between 1 and 5,000, less than 1%, or believed to be vacant, according to the Hamburg Senate. Yeah, I don't know what to tell you guys. This is just blowing me away. Let's move on. London's housing crisis dominates election debate in swing seat. And like I told you guys, and many other... This is not good. London's housing crisis dominates election. So I have a feeling every election going forward now, just like the BC elections that we had, is going to be housing dominated. Every election going forward is going to be... The number one topic is going to be housing. No one's going to care about the Paris... weather, whatever, Greenpeace deals, or what's happening with the ozone layers, and what's happening with drilling for oil, and blah blah blah. No one's going to care about this anymore. Every politician that wants to step up to the plate and make a difference is going to have housing on there as their number one problem to tackle. Is it? So this guy here was protesting. I thought, screw it, I'm going to make a one-man protest. He says, it's worth it if I can make even one person feel to have an advocate. I'm saying, just look at how bad this is. This is out of control. Wow, look at this guy's chin. Wow. Anyways, take a look at this, guys. I'm not making fun of him. Just kind of looks interesting. Let's move on. This was sent to me too from someone from Orléans, France. France home to 2 million empty properties. Wow. Look at this tent city, people. Look at the tents across this river here. Look at the tents. France has around 2.4 million empty properties, 40,000 are which believed to be in Paris. 2.4 million empty properties. Look at the people on the streets. This is crazy. This is nuts. France home to 2 million empty properties. So this is by the local FR. So someone sent me this, okay, and they sent it from Orléans. They sent this because it's an older article, but it's been updated. They're having a really hard time finding one that's in English for me. Europe has over 11 million empty homes, 2.4 million which are in France. A new report claimed this week that more than enough of houses. Europe is growing homeless population, currently at 4.1 million. France through plans to build more. So someone sent me this article telling me that it's out of control. They sent me a few pictures. So they're saying the pre-2008 housing boom is to blame when Spanish builders were putting up 800,000 new homes a year, many of them in holiday resorts where thousands still lie empty. So this article is newer because it's talking about the 2008 boom. So this has been updated several times. Yeah. This is crazy. The mantle goes to Spain, which has 3.4 million vacant homes. But let's take one step back. Someone sent me another article that I couldn't have on here because there's so many. But a lot of Russians are going and buying homes from pennies to the dollar in Spain. A lot of Russians are going into Spain and buying up these properties. So Italy estimated to have 2.2 million empty properties. A lot of people from Bangladesh are going into Italy right now. Bangladesh is seeing a huge influx of people from Bangladesh that are moving into Italy, China too, a couple other countries. But A friend of mine made a video very recently. If you type in on YouTube, just type in Bangladesh people in Italy. And a friend of mine makes videos just like I do, walking around talking. And he's showing the all these people from Bangladesh in Italy. And they're seeing a lot of people from Bangladesh moving into Italy and buying up properties at pennies to the dollar. Despite the number of empty properties in France, the parliament recently passed a bill that sets a target for building 500,000 properties each year, around 150,000 of which will be social housing. This issue of empty homes in France is more accurately felt in Paris, where there is a high demand of apartments. Around 7% of properties are believed to lie empty. That's huge, guys. Yep. Move on. Everyone's commenting Airbnb. Okay, this is a good one. UK News. Squatters turn somebody from this group, the Akiton, whatever these guys are, said he likes my show, likes what I'm doing, and sent me this article, and he says he's in this group. This specific group right here, you're seeing. Vast £15 million home bought. So a vast £50 million home bought by Russian Andrea Gorbachev, who wants to add a pool and leisure center in housing about 25 people. So squatters turn oligarchs' empty London property into a homeless shelter. So one of these people here, who wants to remain anonymous, sent me this article. Member of the autonomous nation of anarchist liberation on a balcony of Eaton Square property, photographed, blah, 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 by The Guardian. And a veteran group of squatters has occupied an empty £15 million central London property purchased by a Russian oligarch. Homeless shelter, and let's continue. The extensive 5-story grade 2 listed Eaton Square property was bought by, again, it says the same thing, squatters, autonomous nation anarchist libertarians known as ANAL. I think I'm saying that right, ANAL. Have accommodated about 25 people so far, many of who had been sleeping rough around the Victoria Station. So look at these young people. These guys look like the cast from Trainspotting. They're young youth. Like, if they're in this position at this age, they gotta find something, or a path or something. Tom Fox, 23, one of the squatters said it is criminal that there are so many there's so many homeless people, and at the same time there's so many empty buildings. Our occupation is highlighting this injustice. You rough sleeper. So the rough sleepers are people who sleep outside. Figures published this week have revealed an increase of 16% from last year to more than 4,000. More than 200,000 homes have been empty for more than 6 months, according to new government figures. It's crazy. 600,000. 200,000, sorry. I'm getting tired. 200,000 empty homes have been empty. And that's all they have on file that they know of. And you know what? These guys are right. How can these young people that have potential and they could have skills to work in doing things and have to live in train stations? We have squatted in many other high-profile buildings in central London in the past, said Fox. Aldermanbury Arc, Mayfair, and Pall Mall. There are so many empty buildings like this one in central London. Yeah, there you go. I posted your story. Thanks for the kind words. And thanks for following me, guys. Let's keep going. European Commission urges Sweden to tackle housing. Sweden is in so much trouble. You guys have no idea. Sweden must tackle present growth in housing prices and the continuous rise in household debt if it wants to avoid risks to jobs and economic growth, the European Commission, EC, has warned. Every spring, EC publishes its country-specific recommendations for EU member states after reviewing their economies And this year, Sweden has been urged to take action to address the household debt and improve the strained housing situation. And no dealt with fallout could spill over to the financial sector, and the banks have a growing exposure to household mortgages, which could in turn hurt neighboring countries in the Nordic Baltic region, where Swedish banks are important. Again, in order to combat the household debt situation, the EC recommends that Sweden should gradually limit the tax deductibility of mortgage interest payments to increase recurrent property taxes while constraining lending executive debt to income levels in 2017. So back to what it's trying to say in English is making sure that people could afford their mortgages, and if there's an increase in rates, they could... So, Joe's Crab Shack is filing for bankruptcy. Just on the wire right now. Australians curb spending as household debt balloons. Again, it's an older article that was sent to me, but people want me to read this. Australia's economy may have achieved a remarkable winning streak, avoiding the recession for 25 years. But there have been now clear signs that the consumer have driven up much of the growth, running to a puff. Yep, Australia, you're in trouble. And I have a friend who wants to remain anonymous, and she told me she works for the call us here. Call us if you're having financial troubles and you're depressed and you're going to commit suicide. She's saying they're overwhelmed. They hired 4 new staff in Australia. They hired 4 new staff. They're at a total of just over 30 operators answering the phone, talking to depressed people that can't afford their mortgages. And it's out of control. So this goes back to what I said in the last article. Check this one out. Sydney, Melbourne home prices falls pause. The decline in Sydney and Melbourne home prices paused last week, but only just. Australian housing affordability worsens. Low interest rates are fueling the high demand for housing despite tighter lending rules, says St. George Bank senior economists. After the 7 straight weekly declines, Sydney property prices remained flat in the week of May 4, while Melbourne prices inched 0.3% higher, the first time they have done so for a month. Perth, the biggest faller over the past year, rose 1.1%, and Adelaide rose 0.8%. So it's flat. Australia is flat. There's the slowing momentum. There's the graph right there. Australia is headed for a nosedive. It is flat. Now back to... One person commented on my page saying that I don't know what I'm talking about and that I am a racist because I say Australian proper. When I say okay, Australian proper or Canadian proper can't afford, that's because I'm talking about the people that live there, have been living there for years, and then they're part of the community. And when I say Australian proper, I had a guy said that I'm a racist because 97% of Australia is immigrants. But I don't really... There is an Australian proper. There is an identity. Australia has an identity, right? Russia is called Russia because the people living there are Russian. Portugal is called Portugal because the people living there are Portuguese. Do you know what I'm saying? Mexico is Mexico because people living there are Mexican. That's what... It's the sovereignty. It's what creates. So there is an Australian proper, and I'm not trying to be racist. Yes, 97% at one time people came over, but they created an identity, and they created what you know as Australia. So let's continue here. I just wanted to get that off. My chest and let people know that. Australian house prices very inflated. Chief executive. Back again. chief executive and joined chorus of voices warning the risks of Australian surging housing market through. He said portability of an outright crash is really low. Home prices are very inflated. Said in an interview Tuesday with Bloomberg Television, Stephen Engel in Beijing and Sydney, prices have gained 75% in the past 5 years. So you're seeing a tug of war. Out in front of the largest mortgage lender, including AMZ, where spared S&P's downgrade. So global ratings are dropping. Australia is at a tug of war with their articles. Let's look at this. In January, ANZ said that it would sell its 20% stake in Shanghai Rural Commercial Bank for $1.84 billion to a China Costco Shipping Corporation and Shanghai Sino-Poland Enterprise Management. It also said retail and wealth management business in 5 Asian markets to Singapore's DBS Group Holdings lot in October. So, again, Australia's at tug of war with articles. You see articles in favor of housing, and then you see articles telling housing, so basically, housing market has slowed down dramatically. This is from 5th of June. This is from yesterday or 2 days ago, depending where you're watching. And housing market has slowed down dramatically. There was a surge in activity during February and early March. It's normal. This is from New Zealand, people. This was sent to me from New Zealand. The last 2 months have seen significant slowdown in the property market across the country. Yes, we are now experiencing a chill of winter, but remember, Southern Hemisphere, New Zealand. But it's more than just that. The first evidence comes from the measure of the buyer demand. There was a surge in activity during late February and early March, which is normal for that time of year and usually carries through until Easter. However, this year the demand started to drive 3 weeks before Easter. With Easter and the ASNEC falling, the consecutive weekends expect activity to drop over those 2 weeks, and indeed it did. There you go. So this is somebody has an idea for solution. It's called Naked Homes Affordability. Someone sent me this article and told me to read it. It's from today, actually. Today's or yesterday from today, from whatever, overseas. Experimental housing project is offering a radical solution to London's housing affordability crisis with a series of naked homes in Sydney and Melbourne. So it's basically inexpensive homes, and because the cost of living has doubled in Australia and other major cities, in Australia, and naked homes, they're going to show you some images here. Simple built homes that require, I don't know if the material is super cheap. It says here the model has not been put in test in Australia, but it could have a positive outcomes if it's done correctly. So they're trying to make homes as inexpensive as possible because we have reached an age of technology where you could print off 3D objects on a 3D printer. You know what I'm saying? Okay, let's continue here. Somebody asked me to cover this. Tiniest living spaces in the world, from 400 pounds a month. Coffin apartments in Hong Kong to one-room families in Los Angeles. How cities are now full to bursting. Okay. Take one step back. It's a bunch of crap. Too many empty homes. How are they full if the homes are empty? So let's look at some pictures, guys. Some of these coffin homes. I don't have to explain them to you. That's pretty sad. That people have to live in these conditions, you know. Yeah, it's pretty bad. Look at that entire family. That's pretty bad, folks. Look at this. Wow. Wow. It's depressing. You cook here and yeah. It's not good. Poor guy. Probably worked his arse off at work all day, and this is what he's resorting to. It's not fair. Especially if you work hard. I mean, I'm not saying housing should be free, but I'm saying This is the closet. And then people getting older and stuff and being confined to small rooms. Look at this. This is everyone piling in there. This is a one room, 300 square foot with pull-out tables. Wow. This is in Poland. A one-person house measures 36 inches across, the narrowest point. Look at the bunks in here for the family. I could see somebody owning one of these, like as a little cottage by a lake or something. I would own one of these if I buy a lake and want to, just a place to crash for a couple of days with the family and then lock it up and go home. Look at this one. This is one room. It's not good, people. Here's another one people wanted me to share. There's another one here. This one's 2.44 meters across. Pretty girl, like living in this kind of... I don't get it. Look at this. Look at this poor guy. You know what these are? Oh my god, I just noticed what these are right here. You know those metal racks they sell at Costco for stores and stuff to... And it's adjustable? That's what this is. I know what these look like because I own a bunch of them in my store. Look at this. Those are the metal racks. Tokyo apartment. Wow. I don't know what to tell you guys, man. No space like home. House with no windows. Yep. Anyways, guys, I want to know what you guys think about this. I've been on here for a long time. It's an hour and a half. I'm gonna get some sleep. I might do another show tomorrow night. Sorry for surprising you with this show today, but it's not looking good, man. Things aren't looking good, and I got still another 90 articles I need to sift through. And I appreciate all people sending me these articles from all over the world. You know, it means a lot to me that you're following this, and share some of my stuff, get it out there. We need more people voicing their opinions on what's going on. I'm tired, guys. I'm going to hit the hay. And tomorrow I got a big day at the store. Watch my my series, Starting a Business from Scratch. And yeah, let me know what you guys think. Comment below. Thanks for watching. Send your article. Get me on Instagram, guys. A lot of people sending me messages on Instagram. I'm on Instagram. Just type in Mike Martins. You'll see me there. Mike Martins Official. Because someone else has a page like mine. But it's not me. Anyways, thanks for watching, guys. Big hug. I'm going to bed. Thanks for watching.